Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and this morning I wanted to pop on and talk about nutrition and PCOS, and can your nutrition really help with your PCOS? And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely, it can help with your PCOS. This was actually the thing that got me started in the work that I do now. After I had my third kid, I had a ton of stress. She was a preemie, lots and lots of things different going on in my life, and I started developing ovarian cysts that would burst every month, and I suffered with this for over 18 months. That's a year and a half. It was really painful and horrific. Now, I did everything. I tried to do all the healthy things and eat clean and all these supplements, and nothing really worked until I started aligning what I'm eating and how I'm eating throughout the month to match with my hormones to help them self-regulate. Your system is meant to regulate on its own. And the tough thing for women is that we always have this thought that, oh, my hormones should be balanced, and thinking that that's like the same. That's like a scale that's, oh, they're the same all the time. And it's not the same. Our scale constantly goes up and down. That's a normal pattern. If we're not leaning into that normal pattern, our system can fight against it. Now, the tough thing about that too is that your system produces, and maintains the correct amount of estrogen and progesterone throughout the month. If there gets to be an imbalance there, meaning too much estrogen or progesterone at some point, it can actually then cause some of these other issues that women suffer with: fibroids, endometriosis, and PCOS. PCOS can throw off a ton of other things in the body. Now, people say PCOS like that's the cause and result. It's actually the end of the chain because things are going wrong up the chain, and you have to look at up the chain where your hormones and your health and functionality lies to really help down the chain. So women that have been through this, they understand, oh my gosh, yes, that's totally it. Oh my gosh, yes, this is really it. So I'm going to talk about some really important points here with going through this. Other things to realize and recognize. This is something that I work with women on in the 12-week challenge. Here is the wait list right here in the comments. Click on it, get on the wait list to join the next 12-week challenge. I really help work with you customizing your food and nutrition to your system specifically. This is exactly what I did. And my youngest is now 9, and I have not had a cyst since I started doing this. So about 8 years now that I've been doing this, no cysts, because I maintain the correct hormones in my body and system. I also have more references and resources for you. My book, The Female Fat Solution, I talk about this. But really, for a lot of women, if you've been struggling with PCOS and you want it to not return, the 12-week challenge is going to be the thing to help walk you through it step by step. So I get to guide you and get your system the things that you need consistently to help maintain these results. Every body is different. And realize and recognize that if you go through any periods of stress or trauma or injury or something, that this can cause a flare-up. And as long as you're keeping with this type of system, your system can just keep going through it, and it doesn't get backlogged, and your symptoms don't return. So here we go. Nutrition for PCOS. Essentially, it really is focusing on eating for your hormones in the cycle and making sure you're maintaining this regular pattern. Getting the right cooling foods, right, for estrogen. I talk about this in the book. I talk about it on my podcast, The Female Health Solution, so you can check that out. And eating warming foods during the progesterone phase. This helps your body produce the correct amount of these hormones so you don't make too much. And it's actually going to help your digestive system keep moving these excess hormones through. If you're not going to the bathroom regularly, and a lot of women with PCOS have a lot of inflammation in your system. So one of the big things that you're fighting against too is that inflammation. That says inflammation. That's terrible writing. Okay. The inflammation in your system. This can slow down your digestive system, slow down how well it's functioning, how well you're absorbing nutrients, and can really severely affect getting rid of the excess hormones. If you're not getting rid of excess hormones, they get built up in the body. If you do not eliminate every day, if you don't poop every day, your body reabsorbs estrogen, then feeds into this problem. So oftentimes women with PCOS, it almost seems like it gradually got to a point where it was getting a little bit worse, and then boom, 4 years ago, oh my God, it was really bad. And it's been like that since, right? Yeah. There's a big thing with inflammation in the system and how it affects your gut health, how well you're absorbing nutrients, everything else. This is going to cause you to put on weight. And so many women with PCOS are told, just lose some weight and that'll help. No, that's backwards, right? It's trying to look at the end result versus saying, okay, what's going on upstream? We need to detox these hormones, reset these hormones, and then support them along the way so you don't get that buildup. Inflammation and your gut health is a really, really key part of it. It really, really is. Without addressing the inflammation and the effect on your gut, you're not going to be able to keep up with this either. So there's multiple steps here that are involved. The other thing to think about too is that with the inflammation and everything else, and with the stress of having PCOS, with that type of pain, with those types of problems, it's super easy for your system to be nutrient depleted. When your system is nutrient depleted, you also have the same reoccurring side effects. So even if you felt like things were getting a little bit better, if you're not fueling your system properly, getting enough nutrient in, it'll actually come around again and a few months later be back with a vengeance. Some of you may feel like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. I do good for a month or two, and then all of a sudden, whew, it's terrible again. Yeah. Yep. That's because of the nutrient depletion. So what I teach you how to do in the 12-week challenge is not only eat for cooling and warming to produce and maintain the right balance, right? It's not the same. The scales aren't the same. This is this constant up and down that we need to go through, right? I teach you how to fuel your system, really just flood your body with the right nutrients so it has enough energy to go through this process. Detox all that excess hormone and really address this inflammation. You can do parts of these things and feel like, oh, this piece is helping. Oh, look, I did a non-inflammatory thing. I did a Whole30. That was helpful. That helped. But you didn't get all the way there and it didn't maintain it. That's because you're not addressing the hormonal piece then at the same time. You have to cover all these angles. It's so much different for women to go through a nutrition program and actually get and keep the right result because our systems don't function the same way that a male body does. It takes longer. It takes us 12 weeks for our hormonal phase to shift over. So when I work with women, especially with PCOS, and you gotta know this, it's not your fault. It's not a bad thing. It takes longer. It takes 12 weeks. So if you're implementing a health change and you're not doing it for 12 weeks, you're not letting it have that impact on your hormonal system. So in going through the 12-week challenge, it is 12 weeks because I built it for women to take you through this process properly. So once you go through that time frame, it's amazing how much better your hormones get and then how they're able to stay that way. So I'm really, really, really excited. I've got a lot of gals on the wait list. They're chomping at the bit to get started. We actually start in April, but now is the time to get on the wait list. There's a ton of great info on the wait list. But also if you hear something, read something, see something, get an email, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my, I have this question. Oh shoot, reach out to me. I'm here as a resource for you. And in getting started with the 12-week challenge, oftentimes women start implementing some of these things, and then when we start the 12-week challenge, it's like the results are coming that much faster because they've gotten that much more groundwork started in the beginning. So this is something that once you go through it, you're never going to go back because it's so much easier to honor your body's natural hormonal fluctuation throughout the month to feel good and to maintain those results. So and you can stop wasting your money on all these other things that don't address all the things that your body needs with PCOS. The PCOS body is a completely different body you have to work with. And trust me, I know this is what got me started in this field. Because when I was suffering, at one point my husband was so worried because the cyst burst. He put me in the car, drove me to the ER, and the doctor told me, well, here's your Vicodin and here's your birth control. See you later. And I was like, I don't want to spend my life doped up. That's not my jam. What else you got for me? Nothing. They had nothing else for me. That's where all this comes from. So I was able to go through and do this, and it is so much fun to really teach women how to do this for themselves and not only get better, feel better, finally get the results that they want, but also to stay that way, to have years of results with positive impact, meaning no more cysts. It's a very freeing thing. So waitlist in the comments for the 12-week challenge. Get on the waitlist. You don't want to miss out. If you've been struggling with something like this is something that is going to be life-changing for you. So I can't wait. I'm really excited. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later.